Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for us, for we, the people. I have the thought that needs to be brought before us today, and that is the Antichrist visible? How would you describe that visibility? Well, first of all, we look at what we would compare that with. So if we're going to say the Antichrist, let's talk about the Christ. Well, the Christ that we talk about is responsible one way or another with this brilliant daylight, with this brilliant sun. In fact, even with the night that was here earlier, the darkness that goes and comes with the trees, and where I'm going with that. And these things are continuous. They are not under our purview. It's under the divine. Not only that, I'm constantly saying that the resources that are used to do the things that we do every day are in the past or perhaps the future came with the earth free. And you and I, who have the need to use them, tells us that it's for us, for every last one of us. And since we are to be living life, we are to make sure that our needs, wants, and desires are met. And that we can do this by exercising our way that produces peace and prosperity and freedom, that produces joy and happiness and love, fulfillment and satisfaction in life. Tells us that we suffer for nothing. That's when we're speaking of the Christ. And that means every last one of us, men, women, children, old people, Americans, people everywhere on the face of the earth. The same God that is saying, guaranteed that to me, has guaranteed that to every human being on the face of the earth. However, there is a requirement in order for that to happen. It's made available to you. It's never taken away from you, but you can reject it by choosing the path of the Antichrist. Now, the path of the Antichrist, my friends, as I'll tell you about it in a moment. You see, the way that God manipulates this Christ way is that each and every last one of us benefits from something on this earth if it's nothing but air. And we bring something to this earth because that's the way God is. We participate in the manifestation of that which can come from the earth. Everything that exists on the earth was basically made by the hands of men, that outside of God. The other stuff is made by the hands of people. That is an expression of what God has in God's mind, what God has in God's heart, what God has in God's desire to send that spirit to individuals all over the earth. That a manifestation of everything, cars, washing machines, telephone, spaceships, all of these things, AI, all of these things from the mind of God to be used for the benefit of Christ or the Antichrist. You see, we participate, we have a career, we engage ourselves in life, but we do it by choosing what we love. We're not supposed to do anything that we don't love doing. And when we do it, we're blessed by that same power that's causing the sun to shine right now. By engaging in this career job that you've chosen by the love you have for it, this divine power gives you what the world can't give you and the world can't take away. And that's joy. And that is what life is all about. Joy. That's God. Joy. And while you are engaging in those things that you love doing, you are creating everything you ever want to need. Food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, infrastructure, anything that's made by the hands of man, you are constantly making it as you are led by the Spirit of let's do this, let's do that. And that takes care of every man, every black man, every white man. And even today, I'm going to tell you the truth. It takes care of every evil man on earth because the evilness on this earth is taught. It is taught. It is the failure of the power of Christ to stand up in those places where it didn't and allow this evil to grow, allow this cancer to grow. And now we humanly can't kill this cancer by destroying the body or destroying the person. Not we. That power is not in our work schedule. But we are to become an example of the love of God in this darkness to awaken so that these might be recipient of the heaven on earth, recipient of the paradise on earth, recipient of the life. Now, I know most religions, even Christianity, has said that that crap is not going to happen. That crap is not going to happen, according to King James Version. Now, I don't know what the books that represent my history. We have been denied access to much of that for most of the people that are black. So I don't really know what it says about that, but I can say this. God, miracles are synonymous with God. And God has given us the ability to do magnificent things. And those things that we haven't risen to the occasion of just yet, it never hindered God. Snap of your finger, and there it is. We have allowed everything to exist. The Antichrist, represented by lies, by deception, by cheating, evidenced by some guide and others don't, pain and suffering, hatred and racism. All of this is a result of the Antichrist going against God's way. I'm not basically even talking about a person. I'm talking about a way of doing things. I'm talking about a system. I'm talking about an attitude. I'm talking about a happening. End up ready to terrorize one another, to kill one another, just so you can maintain a system that allows pain and suffering and all the ugly things of life that nobody really wants to be a part of. It allows it to continue to exist and never once try to come up with a proposal, to come up with plans that says that stuff is not acceptable. We got to change it until Christ standing at the door knocking, that you will begin to see. Think about America, Americans. You see a man who represents the Antichrist. They say the Antichrist is a liar. They say the Antichrist is a crook. And we all know that this man represents all of that. But we also know that this man is not alone. This man has representatives all over this country. And he in this country is not alone because that same representation is experienced all across the globe. But for us here, right here, it came from somewhere and it's right here. And what are we going to do? Because these, my friends, believe that what they're doing is right. They actually believe that hatred, if it's necessary to make you violent and free you to not care what you do to other folks, then they say it's righteous. Anything for their end. And that's why they have all this other stuff. You heard, even in America, we heard, I think for the first time a few years ago, someone called the alternative truths. They were saying that what we have been taught to understand as truth, now they are going to come on the scene and tell us that which we were taught was not true, but it is an alternative truth. So don't believe that, well, it's not true. It's just an alternative truth. Now tell me that didn't mess your head up. But see, it has its goals and objectives. The other has its goals and its objectives. And it still causes all of the stuff that we are in every day. It's still a stinking pot. But and it alone, God's way, can fix this. And that's what I've shared with you. I say to you, if you're tired of living in hell, if you're tired of going through the pain, if you're tired of being scared, if you're just tired and want to throw in the towel, I say throw it in. And God is ready to receive you. What I mean by ready to receive, to change your mind and show you what you're losing. You're losing hell. When you turn your back on it, you're losing it. And that opens up the whole of all existence to you. It's right there for you to become alive. So that being the case, I have to just keep coming back to you every day you go to bed at night. You were and we were still under bondage. And we woke up the next day, this day, and we're still under bondage. All of the talking that we are talking, all of the writing, and all of the reflectings that we have been saying hasn't done anything to fix this situation. So what is missing? What is missing is that we, the people, apparently are waiting for God to work a miracle. And God is not working that miracle outside of the way it has been designed for it to happen. And that is for you and I to wake up, a miracle. See things as they are and make the decision of what it's going to be and commit yourself to it, not accepting anything other than exactly what you set out to do. You see, God is like that. And what? It's not a shame. No shameness in this game because what works for one works for all. I'm asking you to think about that. Think about being free, or think about walking behind a man who just rattled out his mouth, come by you, and if he needs you to lie for him and you don't lie, then he would throw you out of your job. And he's been saying that eventually he'll throw you in Alcatraz prison or someplace. Just throw you out because you don't matter. That's what we have before us today. That is the challenge that we have. That are the true God. That are the true Christ, which is made known in each and every last one of you. Think about it.